Whether she's walking the red carpet or doing interviews, you'll find her with celebrities and all the latest news. She's here, she's there, she's everywhere, she's always on the go. So sit back, relax, and get ready, 'cause it's the Corey Taylor Talks Show.
Woo!
Hey.
Right?
Yeah, I do love the theme song. I'm not gonna lie.
I love that.
Thank you. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Corey Taylor Talks, live from Las Vegas, the #1 teen talk show. We have the fabulous Rikki Cheeseman with us, and I just absolutely adore you. I think you're truly just the sweetest person in the world.
you.
So I am so honored that you agreed to do this.
I'm flattered that you asked me. I was like, I'm going to be on Corey Taylor's show? Are you serious? I went home, changed clothes, put the dogs in the backyard. Hey, Mama's going to be a star with Corey Taylor tonight. Get over yourself.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
You're truly just, and you look beautiful as always.
Your Mama's over here. We're both in pink today.
Yeah, I know.
We're pretty in pink.
She hides in the corner, but yes.
I'm going to drag her on in front of the camera someday.
She'll kill you. It's not gonna happen. I tried it a bunch of times. Not gonna happen. But let's talk about you. You are just such an amazing woman, and you're so positive, and you have achieved so much, and I really admire you. And I think probably everyone, especially the people in Las Vegas, of course, know who you are. But for the few listeners that maybe aren't from Vegas or from around other places, can you just introduce yourself and tell people a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Rikki Cheese. I'm one of those rare forms of a Las Vegas native, but there are many cheese natives, one near you, here in southern Nevada. Grew up here. My father was stationed out at Nellis.
Oh, really?
And then so we moved. And so just recently someone pointed out to me, Rikki, you're not a Las Vegas girl. You're a North Las Vegas girl. It's like, yeah, because Nellis is in North Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's true.
And then we moved up to the northwest part of town, not far from the station here. And so I went to, and I have to say both high schools, because both of my principals are still alive, and they get mad if I talk about one school, not the other. But I graduated from Clark. I took my government credit, but I actually went, most of my high school years were at Rancho.
Gotcha. And
then I went to UNLV, majored in broadcasting, but just to be clear about this, I did not major in broadcasting because that was my plan. What happened was I joined AKA, a sorority, and we were party girls at the time, and so I just hung out with my girlfriends, and they were in my line. They were athletes and PR majors. So I was taking all of these classes just to hang out with my girls. And then one day our grad advisor pulled us in and said, "Ladies, do you know what upper division credits are?" And we said, "No, what's that?" He says, "What you don't have." So So I only had a 4-year academic scholarship. I thought, well, I got to get busy because I can't afford to pay for school.
Right.
So I buckled down, and I had more credits in communications than anything else.
Gotcha.
So is this part of this? And just so you know, I'm telling this story for all of you out there for all the people who knew what they were going to be when they were 3 years old. I'm sure you always knew you were going to be a star, so I can just tell that. There were those of us who were really lost, and we had no idea.
Course.
And so I'm sitting in the student union one day, and I'm watching all of the new Running Rebel recruits coming in. You have to do that. And who's cute, who's not.
Right.
And this guy who was taking a class with me, he said, "How would you like to do movie reviews for Channel 10? Why not?"
Yeah.
So I went over there and I did movie reviews, and then the news director there said one day, "Well, how would you like to do reports for my show?" Why not? So I did that for a while. He said, "Well, how'd you like to have your own show?" Why not? Now keep in mind, I wasn't getting paid for any of these things. And I also had a radio show on KUNV. I did a jazz program on the weekends. But all of those building blocks prepared me for this. And so I look back and people say, "Well, did you always know?" I didn't know I wanted to go in TV.
Right.
But I knew my mother was a singer. My father was in communications, top secret. He couldn't talk about it because he didn't want to have to kill his family. And but I see now, looking back, the performance aspect. My parents were very, very, very smart, and we were required to read the newspaper, and we were required to explain why we came to any conclusion. And nothing was wrong, but how did you gather the information to have that opinion? So I look back now and I can see all of the building blocks. And when I graduated, nobody was hiring. So I went to a radio station, worked for free, and it was one of the guys quit, and they said, "Well, how'd you like to have his job?" Why not?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there doing radio news for them, and I get a call one day, and it was from somebody at Channel 3. I didn't believe it, so I didn't return the call. I thought it was one of my friends just,
Yeah.
making fun. So about a week passes by, and I've talked to all my friends, and we didn't call you. We wouldn't do that. So I thought, well, I should call Channel 3 and see if it was true. They're like, yeah, we were waiting for you to call us back. So I went over there, worked there for a few years, quit for a while, ran away from home, worked in Seattle and Dallas, came back home, worked for Channel 13, and now I'm working here behind the scenes and getting to actually hang out with great people like you, doing just shows for WWDBTV, and then coming in the spring I'll have my own shows. But in the meantime, I'm so grateful that you've asked me to come on because I adore you. From the minute I met you, you're so motivated, you're so smart, and you do a great interview. So I wasn't even nervous. Well, I was kind of nervous because I never sit on the side. But I was.
It is so nerve-wracking. Oh my gosh, I hate it. I despise it.
It's easier to be the person who's asking the questions.
Right.
Yeah.
And then like sometimes, like when I do like red carpet things and stuff, like a person like will be like, "Oh, what? Well, what's your answer?" It's like, I don't know. I'm not supposed to be answering. You are.
Right. And I think it's good for me. I don't know about anybody else, but it's good for me every so often to be on this side.
Absolutely.
Because when you're the one asking the questions, and I'll always say this stuff that you say too is, oh, don't worry, it's really easy. I was paranoid coming back in tonight because I was here earlier at the studio looking at some other shows, and I thought, what's she going to ask me? Oh my gosh, how am I going to, is my makeup okay? I was like, okay, Rikki, stop. Right? So, yeah, so that's kind of my story in a nutshell. Big family here in Southern Nevada. Now we've got 3 generations of cheeses who are natives, and it's just really, I love Nevada. I love Las Vegas. Yeah.
It really is a great place, and I think like I took it for granted when I was little.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah, and now when I'm all grown up, I'm like, oh, I love this weather, and I couldn't be anywhere else. I love the 24 hours here in Vegas. You can't get any better. So I understand completely.
Yeah. I had to come back, and one of the things that finally got me, I would have come back anyway, but I was only gone for 3 years, and because Washington State and Texas are on the same time zone, my phone bill was never under $250 because I'd watch Oprah with my mother. I'm long distance, like, girl, can you believe what Oprah's wearing? And then finally, I might as well go home. I'm spending all this money on the phone with my mother. I might as well just go hang out with her. We can sit on the same couch and save $250 a month, right? Yeah, it was like, plus I missed her. And I missed Las Vegas. When growing up here, people say, oh, Las Vegas is different. Well, that's our norm. We don't know any place else.
Right.
And so I went, and I thought, as an adult, let me see what other cities are like. Been there, done that, came home. And there were great cities, but there's no place like Las Vegas.
No, there isn't. Yeah. And I think we take everything for granted. We really do.
We're very spoiled.
Right. Like even LA and stuff, which is like similar to, I could never live there, and their traffic's hard. Ours is getting there, I'm not gonna lie. Ours is getting there, but still nothing like there. And the pollution there, it's just, you do take everything for granted.
And the fakeness. One of the things, the fakeness. When I was little, I was growing up, I had this big, and I still kind of have this chip on my shoulder when people come from other cities and try to look down on us.
Right.
But now it's like, when I was your age, Las Vegas was still one of those, oh, you're from Las Vegas, and people would sneer. Oh, you get gambling. So then when gambling got all across the country, and now because of all the residencies and all the big stars who are coming here, now it's like, you're a rock star. Oh, you're from Vegas? Let me touch you. Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. But they still think we live in casinos.
Right, yes, in hotels and stuff. It's like, I wish, but...
Get 24-hour room service? That'd be fantastic. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, no, it's just crazy. But I do want to kind of get back on that fakeness thing too, because you're so positive, and you could tell you're such a good soul. Like just in the second you meet you, or not you, someone meets you.
I have my bad days, guys.
Well, everyone does. No, but and I find, unfortunately, it's very sad. But when you go around and you grow up and you meet new people, you realize a lot of people are fake and they're just in it for themselves, and it's a really sad, hard thing to deal with. So how do you find you deal with stuff like that? Because I'm still learning, and I'm sure a lot of the viewers are and everything, because it's a difficult thing, and it's sad to come to realize that. Yeah,
it's tough for me too. I always try to, and believe me, I'm not perfect. I was just telling John Stiles, our owner here at the station, about an incident I had this weekend. I know the lady out there who knows what happened. And I was having a bad day. But what I try to I try to assume it's called a generous assumption. I assume that everybody is happy and great and wants to do well, even if they're going through a hard time, because we all do. And I try to not focus on that moment, because I don't know what happened leading up to that moment. One of the things that helped me in driving, when my mother was diagnosed with cancer, I remember every single thing about that day. And later on, I realized that I don't know, like especially road rage, and somebody's coming up behind me, maybe their mother was diagnosed.
Right.
Maybe they've got, a child who's in danger. I don't assume anymore that someone's being mean to me or they're trying to run me off the road. Maybe they really are having a bad day, or they need to get somewhere, or they're late. I don't know. And so my only thing is, please don't honk. I'll get over as soon as I can. Just give me a break. I'll give you the lane.
Right.
But I think that's and my mother was very much like that. She taught us, you train people how to treat you, and then treat people the way you would like to be treated. It was her version of the golden rule. It's like you set the standard. Just because you've run into someone who's rude, you don't know how they got there. You don't know what's happening in their life. So smile and hope that positive vibe will be carried on. And maybe they just needed someone to say, hey, it's okay. It's
true.
all right. I like when people do it to me. It's like, girl, you look like you're in bad shape. Can you buy me a candy bar, please? Yeah, right.
That's
right.
the way.
Yeah.
No, definitely. And I think also the fact that you didn't want, your original plan wasn't to get into broadcasting and stuff, but then how you became so successful everyone in Vegas knows you and loves you, adores you. Even when I tell people, I'm like, oh, I work with her, they're like, no way, and I love her. Truly, just everyone adores you. So you have to have a really good personality and stuff, and not a lot of people can handle being a host, especially at such a scale that you were. And I think that's a really awesome thing and a great quality to have. So I think that's just a really cool thing to bring up, because not a lot of people could ever even imagine doing what you did.
Well, actually, in my family, there's so many firsts. It wasn't, and to this day still isn't, a big deal. Like, everybody in my family sings, because we grew up with music, and so having a big voice, everybody is successful in their own field, whether it's fire department, gaming, CCSD. And I always tell people, you have to really be careful in this town, and you know this. Don't assume because you're talking to someone that you don't know who they know. You don't know what circles are, that ripple effect of the family relationships are. So I would hope that everybody is kind all the time. But definitely don't assume because you've met a busboy. One of my brothers started as bussing tables at the Desert Inn, and now he's pushing some pretty great stuff. He's really doing well. So you don't know who that person is. You don't know who that clerk is behind the counter, or who they're going to be. And even in a family, you don't know. My parents were just they didn't really care what we did, but they said, be good at whatever it is you choose. Be good at that. If you're going to be a plumber, you be the best plumber. If you're going to shine shoes, you be the best shoe shiner. And what you're doing now, and I realize how blessed I am, is that both of my parents loved what they did. And so even if they had kind of crappy jobs in between, but their overall career was always about what they loved doing. And your mom's here in the studio, and I know she totally has your back, and that makes all the difference in the world.
Yes, it does. And I was going to say that my whole life, my mom was a singer, my sister was a dancer, and I tried literally everything you could possibly ever imagine. And until I found acting, I felt lost and I was young when I found, I'm not saying I went through years of torture, and I was probably 5 when I really started getting into acting and stuff. But it was difficult seeing everyone around me be successful at that. But then when I found acting, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I love, and this is what I love doing. And I was so blessed, and I am very blessed that I have such a supportive mom. And I wouldn't be able to do it without her. But I think that's also a challenge a lot of kids go through, because a lot of parents aren't supportive, or they don't agree with their child's life choices or something, and it's a really sad thing, and I think it's horrible, but I think with the next generation it will be changing, hopefully, and people will realize that.
Well, I'm glad that you're doing this show, because when I was doing my thing, well, let me back up. All the high schools, when I came up, we all had pop bands. So I was in Celebration at Rancho, and Western, the Signs of the Sun, they always beat us out because they were like the Green Valley of its time, and they had money, and they had lights. costumes, and we were just trying to hold it together over at Rancho. But we had that, you know, and the thing I'm seeing in the schools I go to now is there are broadcast programs in our high school system that are better than what's happening in the mainstream stations right now.
Yeah.
It's just amazing that all the things that are available to kids, to teenagers right now. And I just encourage everyone to try to, you know, go out there and find something, even if your parents aren't supportive.
Right.
Somebody at your school probably is.
Yeah.
And that helped me a lot too, because I probably wouldn't have gone to UNLV. I'll say George Mills, he was our government teacher at Clark. And I had taken a year off between Rancho and Clark because I wanted to go on the road to see if I could be a singer, and I came back and said, no, I think I'll go to college. Going on the road is hard work, and I didn't love it that much.
Yeah.
So I came back, and I was a lost soul, and George Mills, he did essay questions. And on my second essay test, he came to me and said, are you going to go to college? And I said, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. And he said, well, you really should. I said, no, I don't think so. And so he made a call, and just because of my grades, arranged for me to get the scholarship. And that's what I'm saying. It's like there are so many, if you don't have the support at home, there is a teacher somewhere in your school who is like that. You know, he's one of, I think, the vast majority of teachers who see kids and they reach out to help. Yeah. And he was the reason why I took that next step. But I just encourage kids, if you don't have it at home, be proactive. Look around. Who are the popular teachers? Because those popular teachers
are popular for
a reason. You know, and even if you're not in that person's class, I'll bet they'd love it. Said, look, I need some help. Can you help me with this? You know, and they'll do it. They'll be happy that you reached out for yourself.
That's true.
Or just watch Corey Taylor and then you'll know.
That's right. No, but that is a good point because, like I said, I'm so blessed I have my mom, and I didn't have the best relationship with my dad, and I still don't. But so I could have completely gone down the wrong path, and I could have just been some troubled kid or whatever. Right. So I think it takes you as a person to recognize, like, even though I might not have the support from my family, there are people out there that will be there for me. And there's so many really great, there's support groups, there's, like you said, teachers, counselors, even friends and stuff. If you have really good, reliable friends, I really think no matter what, you'll be able to achieve what you want as long as you surround yourself with the right people and stuff.
In fact, the reason why I even got into celebration was my girlfriend at the time. I only had like 2 friends in high school, like my really close friends, right? Yeah. And so the announcement came over the PA system that they were doing auditions for the pop group. And she goes, you're singing all the time. You should go try out. It's like, I'm not going to make it. No, you should go try out. I'm going to go with you. I'm going to make you go. And I sang a song a cappella because I didn't have anybody with me. And they're like, okay, you're in. And I will always credit her to this day because that started for me a trajectory, even though my parents totally believed in me, but they were always like, what is she going to do? Because I was all over the place. I was going to be a dance major. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to raise dogs. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I think they were kind of concerned because I had no focus. But that kind of started me on that, the performance thing. And then I incorporated my love of writing into that. And then it was like, oh, it makes sense now. But those are the little messages from the universe. Why I didn't hear the announcement. She did.
Right.
And so that was like, okay, go here. And so I've just learned that when I hear that little small, still voice, or somebody comes up to me and says, have you ever thought about this? There's a reason why that's coming my way. And maybe I should pay attention to what somebody's bringing up. It may not be what I want today, but that might be information I'll need tomorrow. Right. So, you know.
Yeah, and that's a really great point to bring up, and I think the universe does like there are little things, and it's important to be aware of everything that's going on as much as you can, of course, and be aware of your surroundings and stuff, and really listen to people and understand and try to get a feel for them. And I think that's a really good point too.
That's what I love about. I'm back and forth about social media, only because I don't want to work that hard. Because if you're going to really be effective, you have to take it on as almost a part-time or full-time job, you know, because you really, once you establish that presence, you've got to stay in it. And the beauty overall for me of social media, though, is you can find somebody who wants to talk to you about what you're
Right.
interested. You don't have to sit at home and go, nobody understands me. Oh, believe me, with billions of people, what is like Facebook up to? However billion,
Yeah,
whatever
something
it's now.
insane.
Like,
Yeah.
like I'm into Akitas. I'm one of those people who, there are two types of dog people. People who love all dogs and people who are breed specific, who just love corgis, who just love dachshunds. I am an Akita addict. Yes,
Gotcha.
I'm on my my third and my fourth, Akira and Apollo. I talk about them all the time. I'm Facebooking with this woman in Russia. So it's not I can't remember. Okay, off the top of my head, her country, but she's a breeder across the world, and our dogs look the same. And I post my pictures, and she'll post her pictures back and forth. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
There's a guy who's raising them in Argentina. I talk back and forth to
Right.
him. So you can't. No one has an excuse now to say that they're all alone.
That's
There's
true.
somebody out there who's doing exactly what you're doing, and you can learn from it, or just hang out with them online.
Definitely.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a really cool thing, and that's a great thing about social media. But I also think the downside to it is it's so. I think one of my big things is us bullying and stuff, and
Yeah.
it made cyberbullying so much easier too. So I always try to say you have to be aware of who you're talking to, because
Right.
unfortunately, and it's so horrible that this happens, but people try to lure you in and stuff. It is a really cool thing that the internet does offer you to talk to anyone and stuff. Like even I still am. I'm not saying I used to be. I still am into One Direction, the boy band group.
Right.
And I talked to so many people online, and when we were in Vegas and stuff, and we were looking for the boys and stuff, we saw them in person. It's just a really cool thing, but you have to be careful too at the same time and really watch your back. But when you find people, it's an awesome thing to connect with. So.
Well, I was forced by my previous employer. I was dragged kicking and screaming into social media. I just didn't want to do it, and I didn't want to be one of those people. I wondered, when the whole smartphone thing really just started to explode.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be one of those zombies walking around like this all the time with
Right.
3,000 photos on their phone. I am one of you. I have joined the club. I walk around like this. The dogs get mad when they see me in the morning. It's like, she's on her phone. And I see Akita butt walking away from me. They're so mad. It's like, oh, playtime is over. But yes, I didn't really understand when all of the stories about cyberbullying, I think it's in the last 5 years, it's gotten so really bad.
Yeah.
I didn't get it at first. It's like, well,
Right.
if they're getting bullied, just turn the phone off. No,
You
your
can't.
generation, that's entirely different. We didn't
Right.
have YouTube or, smartphones. We barely had flip phones,
Yeah.
So that was this has all happened in the last 10 years. I had to get the smartphone to understand how much we rely on those phones
Yeah.
for connection. So if at Rancho, Rancho always had a bad rap. And here's the thing about Rancho, when I went there, we weren't fighting on campus because you can get RPC'd for that. We fought down the street. We
Yeah.
fought off campus. So, but if we had everybody with the phones, they're using it to record, and I see these fights and I think, why isn't anybody stopping it? Why is it more important to
Film it,
videotape it
right.
than to stop it? And then that's when I really got how dangerous and how terrible it can be. Whereas before, maybe only kids in your group would know if something happened.
Right.
Now the whole world knows
Literally,
if something
yeah.
happens. If somebody's bullying you, where do you go?
Right.
You can walk into Target or Walmart, and all of a sudden somebody who doesn't even know you has some nasty tweet about you,
Yeah.
and your picture's been put up, and it's like, now I get it. You're facing, teenagers today. I know your whole life is on your phone.
Yeah.
That's how.
I don't know. I don't know how I even lived without it before, and I don't know how people did for years. I'm like, oh my goodness, how
Yeah.
did they survive?
So if somebody says something bad about you, man, you have to have a really thick
Yeah.
skin, and you're already you're in your later teenage years. But I think for the kids who are in 8, 9, 10-year-olds,
Yeah.
who all of a sudden someone says something bad about them, and it's on everybody's
Everybody,
phone,
yeah.
and it's there forever. The internet is forever.
You can delete it all you want. It's still there. If someone has a screenshot or something, yeah, it's
Right.
always going to be there.
I do really feel for teenagers in that part now, because before, you can hide behind your phone. You can use you have some sort of username that only Metro or the FBI can trace back to
Right.
that person. So you can have some nutty person across from you tweeting bad things that aren't true.
Exactly.
And now your friends or all your acquaintances are like, is that true? Is that real? And once it's out there, it's like,
It's
how much
out
time do
there,
you
yeah.
spend having to deny something that some crazy person just put out there? So
Exactly.
I agree. That's the downside.
Well, even me, I obviously social media was like a big part of my life growing up, but I don't think anywhere near how it is like to the newer generation and stuff too, like even younger than me. And but when I was growing up in like middle school and stuff, I got like cyberbullied a lot, and like my like friends parents were cyberbullying me. Like it's gotten so out of hand, and people feel invincible, and they don't, it's easier for them because they don't actually see the effect, or they don't have to fight you, or they don't have to talk back to you. They could just type it on, and then it's there. And it's a horrible thing. And I used to come home crying from school every day. It was a really difficult thing for me to deal with. And now, thank God, I realize, you know, they're obviously not happy with the situation they're in. They're not happy with their life, and you almost have to feel sorry for them in a way. Yeah. And it's a difficult thing to accept, but you do. And then you're like, well, you know, I'm happy with my life, and they're obviously not, and they want to bring me down because I am happy. So just leave it alone. They can say whatever they want, but it is easier said than done. But if you surround yourself with the positive people that aren't talking bad and are there for you, I think you'll be okay. It's hard, but you'll be okay. You really will.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of who are your friends. I mean, you know who your friends are. And if somebody's tweeting something bad about you, and they're in your group, then they're not your friend. Yeah. You know, if you can pass it back. And I know that's really, really hard. And I'm one of those, I'll give people 10 chances. You know, I always figured it might be a bad day. Like I said, they're feeling bad about themselves, so they want to share the pain. And I'll wait a little while, but I've gotten almost ruthless about I know who my friends really are. And there's friends, real friends, not Facebook friends, but real friends. So like if your car broke down, they'd come and get you. Or if your dogs escape and run up and down the street, they get them. And then there are the acquaintances, people who say they're your friends, but like you, I mean, come on now, you've got the #1 teen talk show in Nevada, the whole state. So you're a superstar at the teenage level. So who are the people who want to be with you? They just love Corey Taylor, or who are the people who love Corey Taylor Talks? You know, and it's kind of funky when you run into that. It's like, do you really like me because you like me, or do you like me because of what I do? And that's like, you're learning that really early. A lot of times people don't learn that until late. They think people are their friends, and they're really not.
Well, even I did like a lot of indie films and stuff, and that started probably when I was in middle school. And all of a sudden, I got a lot of people who wanted to be my friends, but a lot of people who just like sent so much hate my way, and like were making up like horrible, nasty things about me, and like it killed me. And like people that I was like sure were my friends, and it absolutely destroyed me. And it was a really difficult time, but that's why I started Corey Taylor Talks, is because I was like, you know, no matter what you do, you could be the nicest person in the world. You could try to help everyone. There's always going to be someone saying, well, you did this, or you're like this, or you look like this. And it's hard, but I want like people to know, like, I am there for you because I've been through it. And so many people have, and everyone's there for you. And I get messages sometimes on Facebook and stuff, and it's a really amazing thing, and I'm so happy. And I'm almost happy that what I went through did happen, or else I would have probably never had this, and wouldn't have understand what a lot of people are going through. So I am blessed that I am able to help people and stuff. So I took a negative thing that really hurt me and made it into a positive thing, and I'm able to help people. And I think that's important for people to do too, like show other people you're there for them too, and everyone can, all the positive people stay positive and connect together, and then the negative people could just go away and be negative all themselves.
I like it when I go to the bookstore, and actually more, I go to the library more than the bookstore, because I grew up, I mean, if I had had the internet, man, when I was 5 years old, I'd be just one big old brain sitting in my living room. It's like, oh my gosh, I love the internet for that. You can look up anything. My parents bought me my first set of encyclopedias when I was 4, and then they got me the new version when I was 6. And whenever I had a question, they would say, go look it up. And so I became really good at, and still love, just the searching for knowledge. And I'm on pretty much a first name basis with most of the librarians here in town, because when I get upset or I'm sad about something, I love to go to the library, because it's my childhood memory, and sit between the stacks and go, what am I going to study now? You know,
Yeah.
I love it. You know, it's just so much fun
I
to
did.
learn and to know about different people, different cultures. And that's what I love about your show is all of the different topics and the people that you have on. It's not the stereo. I know you love One Direction, but you're kind of beyond. I mean,
Right.
that's just the band that you love.
Right.
But the wealth of the guests that you bring in is just amazing to me. You're so young and you're so into different types of things. So you're helping your generation look beyond just being in high school. You know, like what do you want to do here? Or do you want to travel here? Do you want to try this out? You know, I encourage. I used my scholarship at UNLV. That was my sort of last playground where my school was paid for, and all I needed to do was just do whatever I wanted. So I was a geology major until I found that you had to go out into the desert in the heat.
Oh.
And that was
that'd be the end of that.
End of that. I was like, oh no, I can't do dirt under my fingernails. It's like I barely have it.
Right.
I'm not going to do that.
I agree.
But I just use it as an educational playground,
Right.
you know, and like let me see what the world has to offer, not just what's here in Las Vegas, you know. And I love that about your show is that any teenager who watches this show, they're going to hear the stuff that you are talking about that affects teenagers, but you also show, look what else is out there.
Right.
You have all these options, you know, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and that's what we really try to do because, I've learned so much by doing this show. Like, even when I had the other Corey Taylor from Slipknot on a few years ago, I've never been into, like, heavy metal or anything like that, so it's cool, and I do experience different people and different music and all. It's a really cool thing, and I am so lucky to be able to do that and meet so many awesome people and just discover new stuff and learn new things. And I understand what you say. I absolutely love learning new things, and even if it's something you don't like, learning to accept it and stuff, it's really a cool thing, and that's what we try to do with our show. And we accept everyone, and if you don't like what someone's doing, like with their music-wise, it doesn't matter. As long as they're a good person, you get along with others, so that's all that really matters, and learn to accept and love each other, and that's what I try to do with this show, too, and I think it's an important thing. So,
yeah, it very much so is. And how else are we going to, even with the troubles that the world is going through and that we're going through just in this country, I think as Americans, we really need to be more open-minded to things that are happening all around the world. I still think that even in this day and time, in 2016, there's still a lot of just America versus them, whatever the them is, you know. But how do we all get here? Only the Native Americans can say that they're from America. So everybody else came from somewhere else. So why are we bashing each other? Why are we saying this one's better than this one, or this is how it should be? Yeah. Not to paraphrase, but I love this one. That's what I never thought America needed to be great again. We've always been great, and I think that's why we have our issues and our problems, our challenges. But we've always been great. We've always been great by this melting pot of people from all around the world.
Everywhere,
or even in Las Vegas. I love the majority of the people I meet now. I'm always curious, like, what made you move to Las Vegas?
Right.
Why are you here, and are you going to stay here? And I just love it when I get that response. People are like, I love Las Vegas, no matter where they come from. I'm never going anywhere else. It's like, yeah, but they've come here from somewhere else. Like my brother-in-law, one of my brothers-in-law, he's from Chicago. He came out here, looked around, not going home, and so now the whole family is out here, and they love Las Vegas, you know. So, and I love seeing that phenomenon because I think Las Vegas is a great city, but I also love all the. I mean, when I was a kid, sushi bars. Really, Macayo's was like the Mexican restaurant.
I love Macayo's. Oh, I love Macayo's.
But now we have more choices. All kinds of restaurants. If someone had told me fine dining and fashion and shopping would replace gaming as the number one, profit margin, profit leader, it's like, really? Why are you shopping here? Why are you eating here? Because they love it. Yeah. It's something that they don't get where they're from, and they come here to just enjoy themselves and enjoy all the things we have to offer. So I'm really proud of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we are. I can't. It's like, oh my gosh, it's 6:30 already. But we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we will be talking more to fabulous Rikki Cheese, who I just adore. So stick around. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Corey Taylor Talks, live from Las Vegas, the #1 teen talk show. Once again, we have the fabulous Rikki Cheese in with us.
I love it when you say that. It makes my heart go pitter-patter.
Oh, you are. You're just fabulous and amazing.
Thank you.
Now I want to talk about more about your career and everything, because like I said in the beginning, you have a fantastic, amazing career, and you've done so much, and I think a lot of people don't realize all the work that goes into it and stuff. But let's start from the beginning. How did you actually get the newscasting and stuff? Because it's a difficult thing.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I will always say this. I was extremely, and still am extremely blessed, because God just brings opportunities for me.
Yeah.
And He said, this is your next step. So I've never really planned the next step. It's like, oh, okay, I'll do this.
Right.
But I will say this much: my early gigs, when I started at Channel, well, let's go back to Rancho. We didn't have roadies. We did all the equipment set up.
Right.
We did all the all of the grunt work to get from venue to venue. Then when I went on the road, found out how much harder that is on a big scale when you're in doing one night stands from town to town to town. It's a lot of work, and you're always tired. And then the whole time I was going to UNLV, I always had a second job, or at one point I was working 2 full-time jobs.
Wow.
And so you just learn to balance and give your attention to it. But one of the things that I tell everybody, and that worked for me, and this wasn't a plan, I've just learned this, whatever field you're going to go into, learn the bottom layer first, because you want to be at a place where you know what needs to be done. So a lot of people want to just jump to the top, and they don't know how to wire cables. Like my photographers, when I first started at 13, well, actually when I first got in the business period, even at 3, I knew how to roll cables. They're like, who taught you that? I know how to do it, and especially if we were on a live shot, I wanted to get home as quickly as possible. So big bell.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
And I started shooting my own video and started editing my own video. I mean, when I first started, we didn't have producers. Being on air, we did all of that ourselves, and we were responsible for it ourselves. And so, don't think that any job in your field is below you. If you want to be a doctor, you need to find out what it's like to be one of the orderlies who cleans up, and experience what it's like to be in a room with somebody who has serious health issues, and not just the health problem, their challenge they're dealing with, but they're emotional. See what people really do and say, so that once you become the head of a hospital, or you're the chief of staff, you're a surgeon, you now know every single level of what that works. I mean, you now know all that goes into creating a TV show. You know what goes into making a movie. So you have all of this information that you're learning right now, and you're not saying, oh, I can't do that, that's below me. No, you better do that, so you'll understand when somebody's telling you not truth down the line. And plus, then you get to have the full picture of wherever you're going, and how, like we talked about, the impact that you're having. So I kind of keep it quiet that I know how to edit, because it's not like my favorite thing.
I don't think anyone likes editing. You do not know how to edit. That's the one thing you don't know.
But that's so important. I mean, you know how to produce and market a show by doing it. And now, because of the internet and YouTube and all these different channels, if this is something that you're passionate about, get your YouTube channel. Set up your little camera in your bedroom. Like a lot of these YouTubers, like some of the guys and girls and guys who've gotten huge, that's how they started, just with their own webcam. And like one of my nephews, that boy, he should be in Hollywood. He puts these videos together that are just amazing.
That's awesome.
So learn and everything that you can about your business, and then later on you'll have just so much more of an advantage. I actually got my first, because by the time I graduated from UNLV, there were only 2 of us who actually were interns and were doing all this free stuff. Then what happened was, when we graduated, we already had experience, and that plays a lot into whatever you're going to do, whether you're a PR major or anything. You already have experience. So if they've got to look at your resume as opposed to someone else's resume, guess who's going to get the job? And I'm a big believer in, let me put it this way, I don't really not tell the truth for every job I've ever applied for. What I say is, when they ask, can you do this? I say, yes, I can. Then I go home and get on the phone. Girl, you got to explain to me how this happens, because by the time I show up for the first day of work, I know.
You need to know,
So I'm not saying, when they say, can you do this? Yes, I will be able to by next week, Monday. And just put yourself out there, and you have, then you also have to, what you're seeing, I mean, you're out there, you're in school, you're here, it's 6 o'clock going on 7 o'clock. Yeah, you could be home, sitting, you're browsing or watching YouTube videos and just watching Netflix right now. But, which nothing wrong with that.
No.
But if you've got to make a choice between what do you want to be in your life, it's going to take some effort. It's going to take some work. Yeah.
And that's a really, really good point to bring up.
Yeah.
And I never truly understood how much work goes into, like, well, running a show is bad enough because I'm lucky, like I said, my mom is amazing and she helps me with almost everything. But newscasters, it's like an every single day thing, and I now like know a few of them, and I'm like, oh my goodness, how in the world do you survive? So like, can you talk about that? Because
Sure.
I think a lot of people are like, oh, that'd be so cool to be a newscaster, and they're like, oh, maybe not. So,
They think we just show up and it's all
Right.
done. No, let me give you an example of just my day. And I don't have kids. Like most of the people I hang out with, they've got kids, so you factor that in as well. So I usually get up at about 5:30 in the morning because my big girl likes to announce to the world. My Kita, my older girl, she likes to take it. She's like a rooster. Woo, woo, woo. So I have to get up, but I need to get up anyway because I have to go online.
Right.
And I fought that at first, but this is the world we live in now. Everything is out there.
Oh,
You have to be
yeah.
up. So probably the first 2 hours of my day are spent doing my social media, getting caught up on all of the websites that I follow, what's happening in the world, and looking forward to what video are we going to have to deal with later on. So that's like about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Then, I play with the puppies a little bit, go get dressed, and then head in. Now I've got to catch up to all the things that happened before I got to work that day, just within the station, and so get up to the date on that. And then you have to kind of write whatever you have coming on, fix all the copy that somebody else has written, tailor it for you. Like there's certain words that I can't say together, certain consonants. So the sentence looks okay, but it's like, I can't say that. So I have to find a word that I can work. Then you got to go put your makeup on. And people say, they ask us all the time, well, does somebody do your makeup? I wish. Somebody's doing Oprah's makeup, but she's been at the top of the food chain for a really long time.
Right.
And when she first got into business and news, she was having to do her own makeup.
Yeah.
So now, I didn't work between 3 and 13 for about 4 years. I just got to hang out and do nothing. So when I got back in the business, one of the things that had changed was now, before you could be a newscaster and be somewhat conservative, but now, honey, you better be able to be boom, and your arms, and even if you're heavy, you got to be like, whatever size you are, you have to be sexy on top of being, and the guys still don't have it that badly.
No.
But now there's an expectation. We don't all look like Megyn Kelly. And Oprah didn't, the way Oprah looks right now, you go back on YouTube and you see those early videos of Oprah. Yeah, Oprah's been a work in progress in terms of how she looks. So don't look at anybody right now, and don't judge yourself by these men and women who have makeup artists, and they have drivers, and they've got assistants. I get crazy sometimes when I see some of these celebrity moms saying, oh, I'm a working mom.
It's so right.
If you have a stylist and a nanny
and a
driver,
right.
Your trainer comes to your house.
Right.
I'm not saying you're not working. I'm saying that's different than your mom and my mom,
exactly,
who had to get up and change diapers every day and go back and forth for daycare, and now the expectations are so high. That you have to look fabulous too. Well, there were days when, and still are many, even coming back here, I thought, okay, I got to go home because I was here earlier today. I got to go home. I got to get glammed up because I have what I call my black women's uniform on. I call it that, which is all black because I've got dogs, and so I can just do one load of laundry. I've got the dog wardrobe. If I had to go home, I got to put my foundation on. I've got to and I got to do my contouring. That took 45 minutes.
I bet.
Just to get it all together.
Yeah,
and so,
I bet.
and I'm going to go home and wash it all off. But you're worth it. So, but that's another part of the business that even the guys don't have to go through. They can just do one layer and they're done. But all of the female broadcasters, we're expected to look like Beyonce. We're expected to look like what took maybe an hour and a half of a professional makeup artist. That's the standard. And it just is. We can fight this till the cows come home. But I think there was a male newscaster, I can't remember where, he wore the same jacket and tie for a whole year to make a point. Every time his co-anchor wore like a dress, like maybe within 2 weeks, viewers would comment on it. What, you can't do your dry cleaning, you can't buy new clothes. So that's another expectation. And
it's such a double standard.
it's a big double standard. And now too, in the time of emails, I've had to become really careful because when I wake up in the morning, I'm just me. I'm not on TV. And when I go to the store in my neighborhood, they're just really, just wonderful people who know if they see me this way, I'm working. If they see, my black baseball cap on, it means the dogs are either in the car or going to be in the car. So they give me that space. But that's another a part of it is that you also are out there in the community, and you have to be open, and you have to be able to talk to people whenever they come up. And now, because people are so passionate about it, sometimes, I'll be honest, I get tired. It's like I'll be in the frozen food section. You guys really, can you talk to me like in the fruit section or like the bread section where it's warm? Because sometimes I'm freezing going, I'd love to continue to talk to you right now, but
can we just
I'm
move somewhere
go
else?
like in the parking lot or something.
Right.
Yeah, but the demands, what we have to know a little bit about everything.
Yeah.
You don't have to necessarily be an expert, but you got to understand the difference between the Sunnis and the Shiites. You've got to understand what's happening with the euro. You've got to understand what happens with the effects of a tsunami. You can't just know your little piece of the puzzle, because the newscasters are expected to know the whole picture. So that part gets tough. I'm lucky that, just like you, I love to learn. So, but there's sometimes it's like, okay, I just got to close my eyes for a minute. It's like so many voices in my head.
For sure.
But we're supposed to. But that's also the thrill of it. It's like something as simple as, I love getting lost, because it's not getting lost. Whenever I'm going, where am I? I'm driving somewhere. I always know that for some reason I'm going to be here. I'm going to need to know how to get here. So I always look around for landmarks and things like, I wasn't lost. This is like sort of like God saying, you're going to need to be here. Just pay attention to this, and then I'll let you use your GPS to go back to where you're supposed to go.
Right.
So that's the challenge. But yeah, it's a big job. And then you want to look at your work and critique it, and I'm really bad about that.
I
it's
hate
so
watching
hard.
myself. I hate it.
Don't you second guess yourself too? Like, why did I wear that? Why did I do my hair that way? Yeah.
Why do I keep? Oh yeah, everything. Yeah. Oh, you criticize everything. And when I was little too, I was like, because I always heard like celebrities like hated watching themselves on camera. I was like, oh, how could they possibly? I bet it's so cool. I would watch myself every day, and then I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't even like stand myself. And it's a sad thing, but it's true.
It's tough. I don't know anybody who can actually say. The only person who I've actually heard say something along those lines was, I remember an interview with Aretha Franklin a couple years ago, and someone asked her, "Who's your favorite singer?" And she said, "Me." I was like, whoa, Aretha. I thought, that's self-esteem,
Good for you.
all right?
Yeah,
It's like, oh yeah, girl. But that showed she loves herself enough to enjoy watching herself.
Exactly.
I'm not there yet. I'd like to get there, but honestly, when I'm watching, I'm sort of like, why'd you say that? Why'd you do that? So I try to lighten it up.
As
but
much
it's
as
hard.
you try, just you can't. It's something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, right?
And you did do a good job, but you're just like, oh, but I could have done that a little bit better. And you always do that. And it sucks, but that's how it is. Yeah.
But that's how you push yourself to excellence.
That's true. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, we were talking right before the show about just the other night. I discovered this YouTube about Beyonce. This guy's got early video of her when she was getting started.
Yeah.
Or like not when she was just getting started. I've seen like when she was like 3 or 4. Her parents posted that, but this was video of her performing when she was 10. And I love that one shot where she just looks at the camera, and go on YouTube, it's there. I just saw it the other night. And she had the exact same expression on her face as you see her acting now.
Wow.
She already had her stuff together when she was 10 years old. She had the pose down. She had everything. And that look of confidence.
Yeah.
And, but think about it. She didn't go to prom.
No.
She wasn't running the streets. When everybody else was, going to the movies or hanging out at somebody's house, Beyonce was working. And that's when I go to high schools, I tell people, I explain all the things I did to get to this point, and sometimes their eyes glaze over. It's like, that seems really hard. It's like, well, baby, how do you think you're going to do this?
Exactly. No, it's true.
Right?
Yeah. I sacrifice so much,
Yeah.
and it sucks. But at the meantime, following my dreams and stuff, and that's what it's a sacrifice. But if you're really doing what you love, it's not that big of a sacrifice.
Like people ask me, it's like, well, are you working? It's never been work.
No.
It's always just dealing with people can be tough. Just the other energy, because it's hard to make somebody be positive if they don't want to be. And that's what I love about the station. Everybody here is so positive.
It's such a rare thing. So like it's unbelievable. It's like really magical. Like it's crazy. It's so awesome.
Yeah, and we keep using that word magical because we're just like, we walk in the room and we start like bonding with each other.
Right.
It's like, oh, this is great, and we're just so happy to be doing this. And I think that's what makes the difference. Is so you don't get to go to certain things, but years from now, you're going to look back. Like, I've never been to a high school reunion. I just have my friends tell me about it because it's like, well, I don't really want to know what so-and-so looks like.
If I were you, I'd be going like, that's right. I would.
When you go back to your 10-year reunion, how many people will be where you are right now?
Right.
You know, I mean, you're already ahead of the curve right now. You can go back and go, told ya.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And I think it's also important for people to recognize their blessings.
Yes.
Stuff. And I always said, like, even if everything I have going for me just ended, I am so lucky with all that I have done and like accomplished. And people who've lived to be 100, some of them haven't done like half of what I was blessed enough to be able to do. So you really do have to count your blessings and be grateful for everything, because it could just end in a second and everything could just change. But so you really have to be grateful and truly recognize all the blessings you do have.
And what I always look at is, and I think I got this from my dad, he said, when you're 90 years old, when you look back, don't regret not doing something.
Right.
Go out there and try it. You would rather say, ooh, I shouldn't have done that. I mean, it's like, nah. But at least you tried.
Right. No,
Yeah,
definitely.
don't look back and go, I wish I would have. And I just, that was always my mantra growing up, was I don't ever want to, I'll make mistakes are learning experiences.
Yeah.
It's what you know it's not going to work or you shouldn't ever do again. Then past that, you forgive yourself and you move on and you say, okay, that didn't work. Let me try this. And I do know people, one of my brothers and I, we got into this conversation. I said, I know a few people who are like, they are the real Walking Dead. You know?
Yeah,
They're just,
I know, I
they're
do,
just putting
yeah.
step by step in front of life, and they're not happy, and they're not changing, and they're not even risking. Because what you're doing, this is a risk. I mean, when you decided to go on air, yeah, you know, you're putting yourself out there.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And now you have a standard that you've set, so you can't even slack.
Yeah, I do, no.
Yeah, but then that's the joy. That's what I loved from the first time I met you and your mom. It was just like, oh my God, this is so great. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I really am blessed, and that's why I want to help people so bad too, because I have been so lucky, and I want to help other people get there and achieve what they want to. So
You're doing
and
it.
our amazing producers over there too,
Right.
holding our 2 minutes side.
See, now John Stiles, who owns the station, he's actually running the board for us tonight. He is so happy because he has 2 timing pros. I said, if we can't follow a time cue, nobody can. He's over there, he got the sign back there. 2 minutes, ladies, wrap it
He's
up.
dancing in the back. He's awesome.
Isn't that amazing?
I love it.
You should check his show out too. John
Dude,
Stiles,
Yeah, doing it with Styles, which
Oh
is
my
the
gosh.
best title ever.
Isn't it the
I
best?
love it so
Yeah,
much. I'm
yeah.
jealous.
Yeah, right? He grabbed it. So.
Right.
So thank you for having me on. I'm
Oh.
so grateful to you for your sharing this time with you.
Well, thank you truly so much. It's such an honor to have you on. And where can people find you and keep in contact and follow you? Because you have a lot of cool stuff coming up soon, I'm very sure.
Yeah.
So.
I'm on Facebook, and it's Las Vegas Rikki C. That's my fan page. And then I'm also on Twitter. It's Rikki Cheese. And then on Instagram, Twitter is still Las Vegas Rikki C. And then... I could go on my Twitter accounts. You'll see all my little things. And then, really quickly, word to the wise. I found this out recently.
Okay.
If you have Instagram, and this is like my public service announcement for the world.
Yeah.
If you have Instagram, you make sure, if you have to change your password, that you have access to the email that you set up your account on.
Oh, yeah.
I learned that the hard way. It's like, oh my God, I had all those hundreds of followers, and I have to like tell those people, come on over to the new site.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's the only social media platform that does that.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So, but that's my PSA for today.
That's a good PSA. Well, thank you so much,
Thank
Rikki.
you.
Truly such an honor. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Everyone, please go follow her and check everything she has coming up very soon. I'm excited. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you guys so much for watching. And remember, never give up, always believe, and you will achieve. Thank you, and God bless.